Well, what is going on, gang? Welcome back to Therapeutic Edge. This is a collection update. What's on the table and what we'll be looking at today is a bit of a Microtech classic. This is the Socom Delta. This particular one is from 2013. Am I losing my mind? Yeah, 2013. So 12 years ago. It's an excellent design. As you guys know, the Socom Bravo here is one of my all-time favorite pocket knives. I have this one, and I have one in full DLC, which makes me equally happy. But recently, a buddy of mine goes by Napster Ninja on Instagram. Super nice guy. He had loaned me a bag o' knives to review, and life happens. I've had that bag for a really long time. Sorry, bud. But as I was going through it, I came across this. And this is everything that I wanted. Now, you all may be more familiar with the Socom Elites. This is a reasonably newer one. This is from 2023. This is their Tanto. This is a little bit more like this one in like blade thickness and in overall feel than the Delta here. But this has a feature that I just cannot tolerate. I do not carry knives tipped down. We outgrew that a million years ago. I get it. Some people still enjoy it. It's more tactical and all whatever. I don't care. That's your thing. If you enjoy a tipped down knife, yay. I don't. The Delta is tip up. The Delta is what they were thinking about when they made the Bravo. And I never thought I'd own one. So here I am going through this bag of knives, and I come across this, and I reach out, and I'm like, hey, man, don't suppose you'd want to maybe sell that? And he said, yes. So now I own a Socom Delta. These are very hard to come by. One of the reasons that Microtech and I didn't get along for many years is because they either did this thing and tipped down, which no thank you, or everything else was an auto. And it wasn't until they got together with Reich that they stepped back into the sort of modern pocket knife design, enough so that now they're no longer working with Reich because it upset many of their fans because Reich's a Chinese company. Now they're making these. This is the Signature Series, full tie, tip up. These are fantastic. Anyway, so let's take a look at what Microtech was doing 12, 13 years ago and then stopped. So what do you get? Well, first and foremost, this one is an S30V. And I will point out that back in the day, that was just about pinnacle user knife steel. And what do I mean by user knife steel? Well, if you were a collector or into fancy knives, there were knives in more fancy blade steels. But the working knife, the Spydercos, the Benchmades, the working knife, they were almost all entirely an S30V. There were some 154 CMs out there, but S30V was the super steel of its day. So you've got an S30V blade. You've got a sub-frame lock in G10. You've got a titanium backspacer. You've got a reasonably old school style pocket clip set way down on the knife, but that's okay. It is a beautiful drop point. Action's very good, very snappy, and it is everything that I love about this knife. It is comfortable. It is just feels locked into my hands. This makes me really happy. The bummer, of course, is that this knife was designed to just get the shit kicked out of it, and I'm not going to do that because the odds of me coming across another one are next to nothing. And if I did, these things are they're very expensive if you can find one. Mine was not, because the person that I bought it from isn't a jerk. He was like, sure, man. And so he got out of it what he put into it, which I think it was super fair and reasonable. So this is titanium. It's got a steel lock bar insert. This is titanium, right? Even the pivot's cool, man. Look at the size of that. All right, so let's take a look at what you get. Can you guys tell I'm excited? I really like this thing. All right, first and foremost, you get 3 and just shy of 3 3/4 of cutting on 4 inches of that S30V. The grip area is 4 1/4. Right? It's the entire length of the handle, so it's a nice big knife in that regard. It is leaner than the modern Bravo, which, by the way, I think these are out of production too, which sucks. It's got a sort of free-floating-ish backspacer. As you can see space through it, which I think is really nice. This is a really good knife. Tip to tail, the Delta comes in at just at 9 inches. Maybe just a 1/16 of an inch short. I know from this angle it looks, but trust me, it's just shy of a full 9 inches, but not by much. Closed length on the Delta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 1/16. Pocket profile is interesting with these, same as with the Bravo, and not so much with the Elite because of the way it hangs. In other words, I don't like the angle of this thing's dangle. Anyway, sorry about that. You are looking at its thickest, you're looking at 1 inch and 3, a little over 1.5 inches, excuse me, out here, right? So it is sort of heavy down in the pocket. Let's see how much of that S30V they give you. We are zeroed. Back here at the thickest point, we're talking about 3.96 millimeters. At its thickest through the center, this thing is 13 millimeters, which is a little bit over a 1/2 inch, but not much. It's also fairly light because it is G10. It is pure G10 on this side. It is mostly G10 over here with just this aluminum subframe lock, right? So it weighs 4.2 ounces. It's a little tiny bit over that ounce per inch that the really hardcore EDC guys care so much about. I don't, you know that. The bummer of all of this is that there are now 2 Microtechs in the same family from very different manufacturing places that are now going to be exponentially harder to get. And that sucks. Because this is a really good design. How good? Well, as I've said many times, I buy a lot of knives. When I first got this drop point Socom Bravo, I think, and I got mine back in 22, 23, it's been a while. I think I went a full 6 or 8 months without buying a pocket knife because this thing just did everything that I wanted it to, and it was everything I needed it to be. Now I've added this full DLC edition just because, again, they're getting harder to find, and I am a knife collector. So this makes me happy for a bunch of reasons. I just think they're cool, and now I get to add this to the family, which makes me even happier. I carried this today. Went to work with me. It's been in my pocket all day. It opened the package that this came in. You'll be looking at this later. I wish Microtech was listening. They're not. They don't care at all about what I have to say, but I wish they were listening, because I would ask them very nicely to please, if they don't want to work with Reich anymore, they don't want to have their stuff made by a really good Chinese OEM, I get that. Please do a new signature edition of this. If they made the Delta like they have made the full-tie MSI here, I would absolutely lose my mind. And they would have a knife that is absolutely competitive with all of the modern high-end fancy cutting tools. Please do that. Anyway, they're not going to, but it was worth asking. I also, at the same time I got this, picked up something else that is equally hard to sort of come by. The review on this is coming. I picked up a sigil. Another hard to come by Microtech. They have the designs to not just compete, but to excel in today's knife world. And they are showing us that they know how. So I'm really hoping that the end of these and the beginning of these might very well lead us into a new generation of these. I guess we'll see. This is the Socom Delta, an excellent knife by Microtech from now 12 years ago. It's amazing how long ago that feels like, and yet to me it also feels a little bit like just yesterday. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I am super excited to have this in the collection. Thank you, Napster Ninja, for making that possible. I'll put a link in the description to some history and information that I found about these. I'll put a link in the description to his Instagram page if you're interested. He's got quite a nice knife collection, if he wants me to. If not, I won't. Thanks for your time today. If you have any questions about this or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Otherwise, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.